In e-commerce, speed isn't just important, it's everything. It's the entire game. Today, we're going to dive into how a totally different way of building websites is turning milliseconds into millions. Let's get right into it.
Let's kick things off with a number that should really grab your attention: $1.6 billion. Now, that's not a company's total value. It's what one company stands to lose in a single year from just a 1-second delay on their website.
And there it is, straight from Amazon, a quote that puts the price of being slow into a crystal clear and, honestly, a terrifying perspective. Every single second a customer waits is literally money vaporizing. This makes one thing obvious. This isn't just a tech problem, it's a massive, massive business problem.
And hey, this isn't just an issue for giants like Amazon. Google found that improving your site speed by just 1/10 of a second, literally the blink of an eye, can boost conversions by a whopping 8%. The flip side is brutal. After just 3 seconds of waiting, more than half your customers are gone, and a fifth of them, they're never coming back. And with mobile pages being on average 87% slower, yeah, this problem is only getting bigger.
Okay, so if being fast is so critical, why are so many websites still so slow? Well, to get that, we need to look at how things have been built for years. It's time to meet the villain of our story, the good old monolithic architecture.
Just take a look at this. It's a diagram for a pretty common e-commerce platform. You see this tangled web of caching and servers and databases and search functions all woven together? To get any kind of decent performance, you have to build and maintain this incredibly complex and honestly, pretty fragile system. That's a lot.
Let's boil that complicated diagram down to its main idea. In a classic monolithic system, the front end, the pretty part of the site you actually see, is permanently welded to the back end, the engine room with all the inventory and payments. They are one single inseparable unit.
And this setup creates two huge problems. First, since everything's stuck together, it's super inflexible. Developers get stuck, and it's really hard to innovate or create a unique experience. But second, and this is the real performance killer, every time a visitor clicks anything, the request has to take a long, slow journey through that entire complicated mess. That journey is what causes the lag, the delay, and ultimately the lost sales.
But what if we could just break it apart? What if we could free the front end from the back end? Well, this is where our hero arrives. A new, decoupled approach called Headless, which gets its superpowers from something called the Jamstack.
You can see the difference clear as day. On the left, you've got the old, fused-together monolith. And on the right, the new way, where we've essentially just cut the cord. The front end and the back end are now separate things that just talk to each other through these flexible little connections called APIs. This one change, it's a total revolution.
And this new freedom is an absolute game changer. Because the front end is now totally independent, developers can act like master chefs. They can pick and choose the absolute best tool for every single job, the best content system, the best inventory tool, the best payment processor, and just plug them all together. No more compromises.
So that's the headless part. But how do we get that insane speed? Well, that's the Jamstack part. Jamstack stands for JavaScript, APIs, and markup. We've kind of covered the first two, but the real secret to performance, the magic ingredient, is that last one, markup. Instead of building the web page from scratch every time someone visits, Jamstack pre-builds everything into simple, static files.
This visual just nails the difference. In the old way, all the heavy lifting happens after the user clicks, while they're sitting there waiting. With Jamstack, almost all of that work is done way ahead of time, during what's called a build step. The final finished page is just sitting on a server, ready to be delivered to your browser almost instantly. It's a total paradigm shift.
Now, I know what you're thinking. This all sounds great in theory, but talk is cheap, right? Does it actually work in the real world? Let's look at the data from a head-to-head competition.
So here's the setup. In this study, they took a real website, akunta.id, which was built on a traditional monolithic stack. Then they rebuilt it using a modern Jamstack approach, and basically had the two versions fight it out in a series of performance tests.
First up, just a standard performance test. And the results? Well, they speak for themselves. The Jamstack site is consistently hitting high 90s, even perfect 100s. Meanwhile, the old site is struggling, sometimes dipping down into the 50s and 60s. That's a night and day difference in user experience.
But here's where it gets truly dramatic. They then simulated a huge traffic spike, just hammering both sites with tons of virtual users to see how they'd hold up. The Jamstack site? It barely blinked. A couple of failed requests, no big deal. The traditional site, well, it completely fell apart. We are talking hundreds and hundreds of failed requests. It just could not handle the pressure.
Let's just pull out one result to really let this sink in. During that stress test, the old site support page failed 964 times. The Jamstack site, it had just a handful of failures. In one test run, that's over 480 times better. This isn't just an improvement. This is a completely different class of technology.
So the data is pretty clear. This new way of building offers a revolutionary leap in performance and reliability. But you know how tech is, it never stands still. So where is all of this headed?
Well, the very same company that came up with the term Jamstack is already talking about its next evolution, the composable web. It's the same core idea of using the best tools for the job and connecting them with APIs, but it's bigger. It's a whole philosophy for building any kind of digital experience by snapping together these modular, interchangeable parts.
And you can see this change happening right now. When you look at what developers are excited about, older tools still get used a lot, but satisfaction is low. Devs don't want to use them more. But then you see modern Jamstack-style frameworks like Next.js that are dominant and brand new ones like Astro that have satisfaction scores through the roof. The developer community is voting with their code, and they're choosing this new way.
Which leaves us with one last, really critical question. We started this whole thing by saying that milliseconds mean millions. We've seen a new architecture that delivers on that promise, giving us experiences that are near instant, more reliable, and way more flexible. So as this becomes the new standard for the web, the real question isn't whether you should adopt it, it's how much longer can you possibly afford not to.